Yeah.
Beginners.
Hello, YouTube.
Just think of where we are.
YouTubers. Here's the poem. I found one today. I've been working one in my head for a couple of weeks, but instead of writing that down on the bus on the way here, as I often do, I found something that is poetic in itself. Dr. Zi Xingwu, Doctor of Traditional Chinese Medicine, Bachelor of Medicine, TCM China, Diploma of Acupuncture and Tuina Massage. Shop 118, Fisher Shops, Kalgoorlie Crescent, Fisher 2611. 11 Hesper, Brinsmead Street, Franklin 2913. By appointment after May 2010. Mobile 40432 039 368. Telephone 6287 4133. Glow transfer to Dr. Wu. Free trial diagnostic consultation. 11th treatment. Chinese Therapy Centre provides proven effective treatment for many musculoskeletal and systemic conditions. Dr. Wu is well qualified and highly experienced practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine. His specialty is acupuncture, Tuina massage, reflexology and Chinese herbal medicine. Before arriving in Australia, Dr. Wu was the principal attending doctor in Hangzhou Hospital of TCM for 16 years. He is a member of AACMA and ATMS. Dr. Wu has established himself as a highly regarded specialist with a proven track record in treating stiff neck and back pain and sciatic nerve pain, lumbago, insomnia, depression and stress, migraine, tennis elbow, sports injury, arthritis, hay fever, sinusitis and fatigue. Dr. Wu has also successfully treated some patients to stop smoking, reduce high blood pressure and control diabetes. Medibank Private, HCF, MBF, AHM, NIB, NRMA, ARHG, etc. Health funds, rebates available. Price list. Massage. Neck, head and shoulder, 30 minute, $40. Neck, shoulder and back, 30 minutes, $40. Back and legs, 30 minutes, $40. Whole body, 1 hour, $68. Treatment, acupuncture, $55. Foot reflexology, $40. Herbal consultation, $25. Vacuum cupping, $15. Chinese Therapy Centre at Glow Beauty Salon and Solarium.
Is that it?
That's wonderful.
Which one would you like to take?
Very poetical.
Yeah. Would you like to be a reflexologist?
No, someone can play with my feet and massage them.
Well, I think Dr. Wu would like to do that. What about you, sir?
I've no more.
Thank you, Dr. Wu.
Cupping. Would you like to be cupped?
I would, actually.
I've had the herbal treatment and the consultation.
Okay.
That was interesting. And there was one treatment where I was laid on my back and you put a hot box full of burning stuff on my belly.
So you met the man?
A different one. This is in Newcastle, several years ago.
Oh, okay.
Way
So
before.
you put something on your belly?
Yeah, a hot box right here on my, underneath the belly button.
Yeah.
And
Draw out the nasties.
rebalance the energies.
Did you feel better after it?
Amazingly, it worked for 6 months. That was before I had the diagnosis of vasculitis, and so I couldn't connect the pain and various other symptoms. But it relieved it for 6 months.
So you were a better person?
For a while.
And how much did you pay for all this?
The herb treatment was $25. I can't recall the acupuncture, that was a bit extra. But the herb treatment, we did have to buy a special clay pot because you can't do it in steel. And you get a bunch of packets of herbs, one for each day, and you boil them for 1.5 hours, and then drink it. And then with half the water again, boil it for half an hour the next day, and then drink that. So it's really 1 packet every 2 days.
That's amazing. Well, David, have you had any treatment like that?
I have my old boss at the cafe, Matt, mentioned once he had some cupping done, and I, think that there's a lot of wisdom and the long, history of Chinese medicine, and it just intrigues me. That what I like about the poem is that, William and his particular brand of genius, you're looking for a poem and the universe provided one in the form of what most people would see as probably junk mail. But
it's advertising, and again, you see the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Looking at the beauty of it, the thing that is so poetically significant about this is that they're condensing as much information as possible in this, which is, what is it?
Onto the first page. I think the second page he goes into detail a bit.
Yeah.
He's got both. He's got the detail and the condensation.
Even the format of the paper, it's ideal for a poem. Just the long rectangular vertical.
So anybody who wants to...
What is cupping?
Cupping, you put a cup over your sensitive part.
Well, the cups, they're glass cups about big enough to fit in the palm of the hand, and they're heated up with burning cotton wool and alcohol, and then when they're hot, placed on upside down on the body, either the back or I've had it done on the lower belly, and then left there until they form a vacuum. When it cools down, the air takes up less space and it creates a bit of a vacuum, which sucks a lot of the interstitial fluid out through the skin.
What's interstitial fluid?
It's the
excessive.
Yeah, like protoplasm. It's the watery fluid that it's salty.
Yeah.
There's a saltiness to it. There's a protein. It's like blood without the blood cells.
So this is in the skin.
Yeah, in throughout all the tissue, all the cells in the body have got interstitial fluid, which is exchanging between the blood and the cells themselves. Things like oxygen.
You ought to compose a song to this, man. Oh, Dr. Wu, we really like you.
Yeah, because it does have that natural sing-song rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, John, have you been to such a doctor?
Not Chinese, but I'm into all the other health.
So you're homeopathic?
Yeah, homeopathic.
Are you a homeopathic?
Take that back, Phil. No, I'm not, but I'm interested in herbal medicine so far as, I like it when, the idea of technology and old traditional medicine sort of arrive at a point of consensus, where, psychology can be quite dangerous in kind of, I think, immature hands, and so can Western medicine, and where the wisdom of, sort of preceding forefathers and health care can be of use as by guiding technology, so maybe not, just science and technology, but science and technology guided by wisdom. So homeopathy for me is kind of more appealing. I don't know much about it, but I'm going to find out.
The royal family are into it.
Oh, well, I know a lot about it.
No, the royal family love it. George the Sixth started the family, Elizabeth's.
It wasn't him, it was the German thing.
As far back as Prince Albert.
Centuries back, but yeah.
No. What I'm saying, John, is the royal family as we know it today
they use it,
is into homeopathy. They're very. The Queen. We've all met the Queen.
I met her every day on the coin.
Yeah. So, John, you got a poem there about something?
Yeah. Well, David and I are putting a book together, and I just came up with a couple of things this morning.
Good.
What was the first one? Overcoming. Getting over it. This is about recovery. Time to move on into other realms of the universe.
Beautiful.
It's one. Good on you. Other realms. So we've been given an example of that with Williams worlds have come out. But you've got a few there.
Yeah, I've got a few more. Come over to the other side. Move forward without pessimism.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And another?
Another two.
Recover from the negative. Come into the positive realms of life. Put your best foot forward. Don't trip up.
That's good. That's good. And the last one?
Let's get clean. Get off drugs and alcohol. Be in control of our minds, bodies and souls. This is recovery.
Nice. And has Jai heard these poems at all?
I just made them up.
Oh, you think there's
That was
something
just 10-15 minutes ago, wasn't it?
But this is what's called found poetry. I think. You just do it. And then you confound the audience in the YouTube. We're in the Uniting Church, everybody, and their hospitality is marvellous. They're Christians, but don't hold it against them. In Northbourne Avenue, and everybody's here. David, you've got a wonderfully long one there.
I have this poem that I wrote. Really was, it was actually during my sort of not recovery, but fall from health, and I laboured over it for months and months, and I don't think I'll ever do that again with a poem, but I think it worked out right. So it's called Journey or Wasteland Requiem, and it goes, through pitch of night I did stumble, past headstones and friends I did fumble, over muck and mire and stagnant streams, through hellish visions from wretched dreams, to ancient woods of weeping willow, his suffering did rise and billow, and on and up the faithless hills, each side a track littered with pills, and stars glared down from the midnight sky, while the ragged clouds slid mutely by. Above me crows did circling flock, while apparitions did point and mock. Past fallen statues long lost their sheen, their downcast eyes long lost their gleam, while the rain relentless fell in sheets and stung my withered ashen cheeks, to scattered ruins bearing my name, to he who was pronounced insane. And the west wind gusted strong and cold, and the west wind laid waste my young to old. And I wrote that about 2 years ago.
That's wonderful. It's got a sort of Wordsworthian and Shelleyan quality about it. It's, where did you derive it?
This is the poem that I'm happiest with, even though I was really unwell when I was kind of writing it. I was starting, the idea of recovery was still a long way away, but it kind of, I had this kind of vision. It was just like a blink, probably a few weeks before I started writing it, and the idea was that I wanted to describe a metaphorical journey through, a kind of spiritual hell, and to leave as testimony, behind. And it's probably the only thing in my life that I feel I've come close to resolving completely. Probably because I spent so much time looking at it. It's much too overworked, but almost every word is as I wanted.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's really harking back to those despised poets, Wordsworth, Shelley, Keats, and others. They're not fashionable now, but it's got elements of them. And I think they have to be read more. I mean, these older poems, as indeed as Williams said on many occasions, the Japanese and Chinese and others, but this is nearer to our English language, and it describes things beautifully and sensually of the land. It doesn't describe.
Yeah, it is. There is that use of nature in very strong terms. The wind, the willows,
Exactly.
Even darkness and clouds and storm and such. Powerful, almost archetypal images. Yeah. Again, like the Blakes and the Wordsworths and stuff.
Yes, it's very close to not just the nature, but the humanity of people who are looking at nature, but are growing and changing and all the rest of it. And I think it's your best. I mean, of all the poems, it's the one that I probably like the most.
It was the first one I read.
Yeah, there was I did feel when I was writing it, I don't know what the definition of the word muse means, but I did feel I was connected to something much bigger than myself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there. It's there. So will it be published in the book that you and Sledge are getting together?
Yeah, I think that'll be the first of my poems. We've decided on perhaps 7. I'm not sure if that's appropriate.
Yeah, 7 each. Yeah.
7 each.
And that'll be the start to mine. And then I'll kind of progressively, I want to work from dark to light.
Yeah, that's marvellous.
I might even end up putting all these ones as it's just one.
Yeah, put it united.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
going to do 7 each, so then I'll just work it
No, I think that's
however it works.
Yeah.
extraordinarily clever. Sorry.
No, I was just going to, I was just saying to Sledge, maybe we should have some illustrations as well. But
Yes,
Yeah,
you're good at
yeah.
that. You're good at illustrating.
Oh, no, I'm not much of a drawer, but
Oh no, I've seen you, and you're very good at costume. Like that. Masks. You could have a photo of you.
oh yeah, we can do some photos and stuff.
And a photo of this group. I mean, the audience, thousands hopefully watching this perform, indicates that we're becoming more popular because I think we're the only poetry group that gets broadcast, as far as I know. The others are too scared. But are we? No! It's all on the tube, isn't it? We have to call ourselves on the tube of poets. Well, mine, I mean, I'm an old-fashioned man, about 105, and something happened to me one day when I was walking along innocently visiting a friend, Northbourne Avenue, and the poem says it a bit, but just to sort of, in case you lose the thread, because it gets a bit fanciful sometimes, this young fellow with his cell phone shouting, screaming, yelling at somebody, giving him hell. You know, Northbourne Avenues. Nobody walks along Northbourne Avenue anymore. Car, people. Anyway. And I was the only one, and then I became aware of him myself. There's another pedestrian, and it's 2 of us. And he was giving his interlocutor, I think is the word, William, hell. He was really just giving a performance, I suppose you could call it. If it had been YouTubed, it'd be a wonderful poetic performance. And anyway, I sort
It
of...
would have gone viral.
It would have gone viral, yeah. It was viraling into outer space, I think. And anyway, I stopped, and he sort of stopped. And he came up, and he popped me one on the chin. Not hard. I don't know, he must have been a Japanese jiu-jitsu or something, I don't know what it was. But he landed. I didn't feel any pain or any shock or anything. But he decided, well, I fell over into the very soft grass. It was a soft landing. No bones broken or anything like that. And the curious thing is, I didn't feel angry. Normally when people do that sort of thing to you, you'd feel ballistic, I think is the word, when you'd want to get up and give him a jiu-jitsu or whatever you give people, and they do that to you. And I sort of sat there, lay there, whatever, and got up, and he was on the phone again. He went away as if nothing had happened. So why that happened, I don't know, but it's likely that his anger was such that he wanted to include the whole of the known universe, I think would be the phrase, which was 2 people in Northbourne Avenue. He couldn't very well attack the cars, or he'd be nothing, wouldn't he? But I was the only one there, and I suppose he got me. It was a sort of, you might know, there might be a Japanese explanation to this. You people into jiu-jitsu.
Well, it reminds me of the cats. You know,
Yes,
my cat was
yes.
like that. So we'd be out the backyard, you know, I'd be sitting out the backyard, and at one moment he'd be all cuddly and purry and rubbing, and then we would hear across the fence the sound of other cats fighting. And then suddenly Domino would get off on their mood, turn around and go meow and swipe me one, just like
Yes, you're right.
So it's like
like the bloke on the phone who might have been
Yeah.
arguing furiously but not able to do anything physical. You saw somebody pass, and anybody, could have been a kid at 3 and a woman, he wanted to express his feelings, and he did. And I wrote a poem about 3 bits. No, I didn't. That's another poem, sorry. No, about 12 lines I did it. So I recited anyway for the audience there. I hope you appreciate it, and I'll try and get the feel of it. Visiting through Northbourne, I walked twixt lawn and paths and roads. Alone, but lo, a raging lad, hair black and eyes coal red. A cell phone wheeling warrior, who ranted as he sped. "I'll have your balls, you bastard, you spawn of ugly scheming toads. You've wrecked a scheme so deft, in oil you should be heft." His anger boiled, then, fisting phone, he looked less bothered, relit and waited face stern, then spoke to honey. "Ah, we've lost our 2-3 grand. Please come and see me soon." Transfixed, I watched the saga. Then to me, "F off, you loon." To the soft grass he threw me. Not painful, no blood, no runny. The cops, no way. Revenge, not on. To my friend I plodding walked, so he's continued my journey. Doesn't happen every day, but I suppose in samurai land it happens a lot. I don't know. Please explain.
It's like that someone's in a mood.
Yeah, he had anger like a cat.
He's ready to hit anyone or anything.
Anyone, didn't matter. Yeah. But does it happen often in a city like Canberra?
Don't know.
I don't know. I just think it's.
Was he just a young bloke?
Yeah. He would have been in his 20s.
Yeah, well, it's probably just because you're a bit older, and I don't think he would have, if it was someone like me, he wouldn't have wanted to anyway.
No, he knew he was getting back.
Yeah, so he probably just picked on you because he knew.
Soft old bastard didn't get back.
In that 10th of a second that he actually had any thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again it didn't hurt.
And I saw when I was at the bus stop years ago, it was when I was practicing Kung Fu as well, and I was in the bus stop and I saw there were these two youngish fellas up just behind the stop, and one of them asked the other one, "Have you heard from such and such a person?" And as soon as he mentioned the name, the other person just started fighting. It was like thumping, and there was all this, thumping, blocking. And so, look, I don't want to fight, I just want to know, about what's his name. And then straight away it's like the sound of the name was the trigger for the violence. And eventually the police came and broke him up. And
Did take them off or just broke them up?
yeah, well, he broke them up, sort
Let them
of stepped
be.
in between and
Separated them.
yeah.
But he didn't want to take them up because he would be involved in the fight.
Yeah, well, it's more paperwork for a start.
Yes.
You'd have to get one of them, couldn't imagine any of them wanting to go back and do the paperwork. Because
They're
one
not
of them would
paid
have to
people.
testify, oh yeah, blah, 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 committed assault, blah, 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 I couldn't be bothered with that. Words in a room.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because that was the thought that came into my mind. I didn't want to go to the cops because they're so bloody stupid anyway. The ones that are doing, sorry audience if there's any policemen there, but there seems to be a sort of an official stupidity that transforms cops from human beings into other beings. So I didn't want to be part
Well,
of
they live
that.
by very strict rules. To a great extent, there's a lot that the police are just not allowed to do.
I know. Well, I didn't want to get them for that reason, and I didn't want to put in a complaint, anything like that, because it seemed almost as if it was as natural as blowing his nose. And sometimes we object to people noisily blowing their nose in the bus or something like that, and I felt the same. And it was a sort of Zen feeling, I suppose you could say. Zen food?
Like an awakening.
Well, I wouldn't like to have it too often, but a certain something comes down on you. I don't know what you call it, superior wisdom. But you know that you are a sort of chess piece in a game, and you just go along with it. And by going along with it, you're not going to be overly hurt. And I wasn't. There wasn't a bone in the body broken. And there wasn't a sort of a scratch or any nervous reaction, which is extraordinary because I'm normally fairly sensitive to falling over. I've done that a few times. I've never fallen over in a church before, but walking on footpaths being what they are, I've certainly done that, and I don't like them. It irritates me profoundly when I do.
Yeah, that can be very
It wasn't
crazy.
anything like that.
Yeah, because his intent wasn't to hurt you, he just wanted to show you how he felt.
Well, which he duly did, and he's in the poem, he's been immortalised. if it gets published. But it's, what did you think of the poem?
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, these things happen all the time, but to document it and poem, and it's a very good poem. It's kind of remarkable, so I liked it. Yeah.
I'm glad you did. Well, I'll give you a gift.
I'd even call it cell phone rage. There was another poem, was it last year or the year before, where someone else was arguing about, well, it wasn't on the cell phone, but it was sort of about it.
Yeah.
So text me.
Yes. That was one of yours, was it?
One of yours.
Was it?
It was on a bike, I think.
Oh, that's right. A message to his girlfriend. Yes, I remember it.
Yeah.
You're
Poem
right.
about someone using a cell phone. And in the future, when cell phones are replaced by something else, like smoke signals or pigeons, then people will read that and go, oh, weird way of communicating.
Interesting title you said, because I called it a knockdown.
Okay.
And, I mean, a knockdown is not quite as bad as a knockout, is it?
Yeah, it's not as bad.
What was your suggestion? It's gone over the head.
Cell phone range? But that's the American, so mobile.
Okay.
Mobile range.
Yeah.
Well, cell phone range, because a lot of that disease comes from America anyway.
Yes.
Road rage.
Yeah.
Cell phone.
And it's a sort of out of reality thing that I've never sort of had before. If it was you, John, he wouldn't have done it for a start. If it was William, he would have thought twice about doing it, because you're a philosopher, soldier. And if it was David, you're a bit the same, he wouldn't have done it to you, I don't think. Because you would have searchingly looked at him and you would have withered into the nothingness. But I gave him a sort of a kindly look, a sort of "can I help you, brother" look, which was fatal. And I should have put that in the poem. Or just a quizzical, like a cat gets you when you see when he sees you.
So was the type of person that would just kick the cat, sort of.
Yeah.
Another thing about the soft landing, that when one does learn in judo and stuff to how to fall, you tend to roll into it.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, because I'm not a jiu-jitsu fan. I've never boxed in life, never wanted. But somehow there must have been some spirit that you people all know more than me that sort of gave me that soft landing. There was some sort of presence around, heaven knows who made it easy for me. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
What do you think?
Yeah, there's always, that can be read, and all the different, because there's a circular movement, the idea of that around sort of force, like a rolling.
The rolling stone.
Yeah. It's interesting, the word bolt, like Voltaire and bolts, means a turn. Una volta, one turn.
We're revolting from this one.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel any anger, which for me is unusual, because I usually get angry very quickly at a lot of things. But in this case, I didn't feel sorry.
It wasn't personal. It's like it wasn't personal.
No, I felt that just, and I felt a bit. I didn't even feel sorry for him, because he knew where he was going.
Yeah.
And whether he was going to hell or heaven, it was up to him.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done anything to help him, and I don't think it was a case of revenge. I felt no sense of revenge. And this is an afterthought, when I'm writing a poem. Why didn't I do that? So it's a bit of a present of the past. It's a Zen poem, isn't it? Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Zen food. What that means?
Zazen?
Zazen? No, Zen.
The Chinese equivalent is Chanfa.
Which means?
Same thing, sitting mind.
So the mind sits.
Yeah.
The
mind sits.
Just sits.
As you go through something that makes you realise something about the nature of reality and one's relationship with reality, that makes you just sit down.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, it's in some ways a poem a bit deeper than most of the stuff I write, which is usually descriptive. About the other self-phone that was in the. But John, you're going to write a poem about that particular incident, I heard.
Oh, I don't know.
You just let it run, and
See what happens.
but poems are a higher form of reality, would you say, William? I mean, when you're at meetings at the Griffin Centre, do you ever feel a poem coming on?
Sometimes.
Have you ever acted on it?
Well, there was one, it wasn't so much a poem, but up there on the second floor, through the dirty window, I saw a crimson rosella sitting on top of the pole, calling. It was fairly windy, and all around there were office noises going on.
Okay.
And there was this bird just out the window, just right there doing its bird thing on the pole. And I pulled out my camera and filmed it, and I'll put it up on YouTube eventually. On my channel.
Well, that is a poem. I mean, you were actually rhyming it as you were telling it in a sort of way. I mean, there were a couple of syllables you used there, sort of strung together. But did Sarah Stringer understand that sort of
She
thing?
was gone by.
Yeah. Any of the other people there?
Tina did. And Phil Green was there too.
Phil would, I think, understand that much. Phil is more of a... He's there, like Queen Elizabeth. You don't ask why, but he's there. Or she's there on the face of the coin and whatever. Phil would make a good face of the coin. Every person would have him. But I don't know, why do we do it? Why do we come here every week to do all this and sort of do, I mean, it is a superior form of doing something. We're in a church, so we're blessed in a sense, whether we like it or not. And we've got the cross over there, we've got the Bible there, the crucifix. And David, your poem, I'd like to go back to that again because this is a very traditional use of imagery. Where did you get it from? And a few examples of the speciation of.
Yeah, I'm still a kind of baby poet, and I'm enjoying the kind of growth process of learning a lot from everyone here. But I haven't read that widely, but I have read a little bit about Blake. I've talked about Blake with William, and I think when he was a child, and I've got echoes, not nearly as strong, but echoes of what happened to him had happened to me insofar as, I think this is Blake, but I kind of had an epiphany that seemed to come from somewhere higher, just the idea, and then I would get these flashes of inspiration, kind of visual scenes in my mind of someone travelling through this metaphorical landscape, but in my mind it looked like something that was real, that I could see someone walking through a very dark, kind of, sparsely wooded with willows and kind of in a blue moonlight, kind of visionary landscape. It was
sort of dark moonlight.
Yeah, it was midnight and it was illuminated by moonlight, and the trees had no leaves, and it was a rolling kind of, landscape with just lit very dimly with blue light, just thunderstorms. So it was there was echoes of a vision, but just a very light one, and it didn't take me long it did take me a long time, but each iteration, and especially the last line, which was, and the west wind gusted strong and cold, and the west wind laid waste my young to old, that came to me in a little epiphany.
Young to old, yeah, that's brilliant.
But I didn't know that the west wind is a poetic instrument that goes back a long time.
Frequently, yeah.
And when it came to me almost complete, and I wrote it down, and then I discovered the west wind was a poetic device that goes back.
Particularly the romantic poets, but before that I think they used it, didn't they? Elizabethans used it.
Well, the west wind goes all the way back to the pagan times.
So the pagan English,
the west, in the particularly in the English part, or even before the Druids. The Druids are fairly modern compared to the pagans, because it's, for a start, they used the golden sickle to cut the mistletoe. And for metal, that's obviously already the Metal Age. For the proper pagan, the true stuff, we're going way back to the Neolithic and beyond.
Stonehenge.
And even before that, way before.
What sort of before?
The
cave?
Yeah, they were. Well, they didn't live in caves, peripatetic. But this is sort of that between part. Paleolithic is the old Stone Age, so-called cave people, but they still made huts. Then the Neolithic is the new Stone Age, and that's when they started making Stonehenge and that. But before that, they were doing it with sticks. and by noting when the sun and the moon rise and set at the various times of year. So they're basically like calendars.
Yeah.
To some extent.
And were they worshipping when they were doing all this?
It gets complex looking at that. Well, it's certainly passing on knowledge, but the guts of the west wind, see, in the eastern part of England, the people would see the water came from the west. The Cotswolds is the mouth of the headwaters of the Thames. And because the water came from the west and the sun sets in the west to them was the land of the ancestors. That's where one passes. So the water is like a gift from the ancestors, and the west wind is a gift from the ancestors as well. And we might hear messages.
If you were talking like this in 1800s England, you would have been to the jail for
witchcraft.
But you would, witchcraft. But the Romantics, the Wordsworths and the Shelleys and all that, were infusing this into their poetry.
Yeah.
And what David's done is a 21st century version of that. So whether we know it or not, we do it. But John has a found poem, yes?
I don't know.
No, just recite it. This is done on the spirit of the poetic afflatus that's around us. John, over here.
Zen is from the mind, taking control, taking over. Use your mind to overcome, to make the choice. Is it right? Is it wrong? Good or evil? Light or dark? Black or white? Stop. Let it flow, let it go. Move it on, let's go. Slow. Then back to the pace of life. It's so fast, getting faster. Speeding up, moving forward.
That's it. No, that's interesting. That's a sort of
Moving in and out of the visionary state.
Yes, yes. Because do you have vision?
Oh, I suppose you call it that.
Because there's insights which are sort of like visions.
Insights and visions are different then.
Slightly. It's mostly a matter of intensity and also detail. But then again, you can get very detailed insights and very simple visions.
So it isn't a matter of knowledge or brilliance or anything like that. It's a matter of how you put them together.
Yeah, or even intensity of experience.
But it depends on that experience. I mean, some of us have had it, some of us haven't. Some of us are more literate, I suppose, than others. Some of us are more intuitive than others. Some of us are more childlike than others.
Some are more practical.
And some are more, well, in the Britain Centre, though, having sold the building for the Legislative Assembly, I mean, you know, there's the mercenary motive there. There's something we rage against, don't we?
Practical is not always practicable.
No. But it was opened by, what's the bloke who's Chief Minister? John.
Stanhope stood down.
That's right, Stanhope stood down.
Yeah, he quit.
He was tired, he wanted to have a rest.
Didn't even know.
Yeah, and it's Katie Gallagher.
Katie Gallagher, wild Irish woman. He's got a lot of the old poets.
We worked for her brother.
Yeah.
You met Katie?
No, but we worked for her brother.
Yes.
Was he a nice man?
Yeah, he's very hospitable.
Was he Irish?
Oh, nice.
I think the name goes back to Ireland, but he's definitely Australian.
Oh, yeah. Australian now.
Well, she wants to take us over. So what does that mean, poetically?
She does have appears to, we'll hope, an interest in the community sector, which is where most of us work.
So nobody can quite understand my letter where I rage against the Gallaghers of this world. But I think Canberra people seem to like the Gallaghers of this world.
Yeah.
And
except the Liberals, of course. Liberals always.
But the Liberals haven't done anything. Maybe it's going to be there.
Nothing but 3-word slogans.
That's right. Yeah. That's all they can enunciate. 3 is about it. Oh, well, that's a good one. Are you going to extend that?
Yeah, I was thinking of that, but I wouldn't try.
It's when you're sort of taken over by a spirit that you're after.
I know something.
What's your spirit like? You've got a little one called Jai. That gives you encouragement.
Right.
There's something there. Where do you get your poetry from? That's from the...
Out of the ethos.
What does the word muse mean? Because I think sometimes they're all
Question.
It's a goddess. There's three goddesses.
Yeah.
But each of them can be divided into another three. So
But
there's
who
a
are
total
they?
of
When
9.
Persephone was
They were
one.
daughters of... Oh, well, Persephone was the daughter of Demeter.
Yeah.
She was the goddess of spring, while Demeter was the goddess of the harvest. But the Muses, they were daughters of Zeus with, I don't know, Hera, I think.
Yeah. But what about
And they were the goddesses of the
Yeah.
artistic inspiration. There was a music one, there was an art one, and there's another one, I can't recall
But were
exactly.
they called, just go back a few, go too fast for me, the Muses were specifically...
Yeah, three
into the
sisters.
arts, weren't they? Three
Yeah.
sisters? Persephone?
No. Persephone was the goddess of spring.
Okay.
She was a
So who were the three Muses?
There were sisters. One of them was music. I can't recall their names exactly.
Yeah.
And it's in the movie Xanadu, where they touch on this.
Mm.
And it's very cheesy, but very entertaining, and lots of good music and dance.
So there's three of them. One of them
There's three of them,
represents-
but they divide into three each of them. So there's
What do
nine.
they do?
They
Just the
inspire
big
people.
three.
They're the ones who inspire
Okay,
people.
who are the big three?
There's music.
Yeah.
I think one of them might be comedy or
Drama?
drama, and painting, I think, is the other
So
one.
that'd be the fine
graphic
arts.
arts. Yeah.
Plastic arts, the fine arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then we won't go into the divisions because that's a bit more complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit.
And-
Because then you get the more precise things. Like
Yeah.
the literature, there's poetry and
Mm.
stuff like that.
Well, in the olden days, at 1700 or so, not old enough for you when you go back much in the idea there, but they used to have in the 1700s and the 1800s houses with them all painted. They don't do it. There's no picture of the Muses in the Legislative Assembly. Why has that happened?
Yeah.
What's happened?
They've got
Why do we-
ethos. Statue of ethos.
But not the Muses.
No. Oh, we certainly need a good
So
monument. to the
Katie
Muses.
should redo the Griffin Centre and make it more sort of three Muses. Should she not?
I have a secretly twisted ambition there regarding what we should do about the Griffin. Because there is a place, it's on the way to Kingston, or is it Griffith, in that area, towards the old part, where there are all these buildings. They look like monuments, like ancient Greek monuments, but modern, and huge pieces of land, like each one a whole city block, with one giant building in there, and they are owned by the industry pressure groups. So industries include the steel, the livestock, whatever. Each of them have enough money to put aside to build these massive monuments full of workers and cleaners and whatever else they need in order to put pressure on the government to make decisions
For them?
in the interest of the industry groups. Now I think, why can't we in the community sector also have a building there
Good idea.
so that we could actually have the kind of say that the government pretends we do?
But William, we already have much. It's the Griffin Centre, which is
Okay.
taken over by the Legislative Assembly. My feeling is, sorry, John, I'm saying poetry, we'll take over the Griffin Centre and make it so, sure.
Yeah, and not only that, but build it right there. So
No, it's
build our
already
own-
built.
our own.
It's already there. We can build a new building or rebuild the Griffin Centre, but the building is there. It's there. It's before our eyes.
I'm going to read this
Yeah, go
again.
for it,
So,
John.
Zen is from the mind, taking control, taking over. Use your mind to overcome, to make the choice. Is it right? Is it wrong? Good or evil? Light or dark? Black or white? Stop. Let it flow, let it go. Move it on. Let's go. Slow. Then back to the pace of life. It's so fast, getting faster, speeding up, moving forward, coming into its own. Universal, the cosmos, the ethos, the ether. We just pluck it out, we just grab whatever we find and use it to make poetry.
That's nice.
All the concepts about plucking it out.
Yeah.
So
But we do. That's a human response with it, isn't it?
yeah, and it's good that like having the two-speed mind, like one we just let go, and then overcome that grasping.
Yes.
If we leave it with the monkey mind, as the Buddhist put it,
But yet it's hard to get away from when things like Katie Gallagher's takeover come. Now I'm angry about that. I don't feel philosophical or political about it. I feel as if I'd like to just slam the woman, as the lad did to me in NORTHBOURNE Avenue. But more usefully than that, I feel that we ought to have a takeover of the Griffin sector.
oh yeah,
And I could see you as the leader of the group.
no.
So we might invest you with that.
Well, like I say, it reinforces my theory of leadership, that leadership is about being a sucker. Every leadership position I end up in is because people go, oh, will you do this, will you do that? I go, all right. And then that's how you end up in positions of leadership.
But you don't end up in prison.
Maybe.
Right.
Well, no, don't
Would you
end
like to
up
be
there.
our martyr?
Spend a bit of time there, but I won't end up there. I'm going to end up anyway.
But the idea, I mean, about the Griffin is that it's sort of quasi-legislative assembly, or it should be. Where John's poetry can be
People's
read and
assembly.
appreciated. Yes.
Which really needs morally be more powerful than the legislative.
Well, could you
Legislation is
imagine
just about
Phil taking over there? I mean,
I can imagine him asking everyone for a coffee.
he's a scammer. He's not a takeover. I mean, this is where the business is.